I'm excited to introduce today's guest, the newest addition to News Nation, Emmy Award-winning journalist, host of iCrime, and previously hosted 2020. Here to talk about her new hour-long weekday news program, Elizabeth Vargas Reports. We have Elizabeth Vargas. Congratulations, Elizabeth. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be with you this morning.
Oh, we are so thrilled to have you. This is such an exciting time in your career. Tell me all about Elizabeth Vargas Reports. What can we expect in this program?
It's an hour-long news program from 6 to 7 Eastern, Monday through Friday, and we will be taking a look at the biggest stories of the day in a very in-depth, thoughtful way. I think that, you know, a lot of times you sort of just see a reader on the story. We're going to actually go in deep and give sort of the context and the nuance around the handful of the biggest stories of the day that I think people would like to see.
Lots of people are with me when I say that you've been an inspiration, I think, to many journalists, aspiring journalists, but even people, and your statement, your mission statement promises to really talk about the facts like you just said. But tell me a bit more about that mission statement more in depth.
I just think today, you know, the cable news landscape is sort of full of a lot of shouting and yelling, and a lot of opinion. And listen, if that's what you're doing, great. That's just not what I'm doing. And usually it's not what I want to watch. I don't want to be told what to think. I also don't want to live in an echo chamber and hear nothing except my own point of view ricocheting around. I think the biggest, you know, public service that we can do is aiming for the middle, where the vast majority of America is. I mean, there's maybe 10% that's far right and 10% that's really far left, but the vast majority of Americans are center left or center right or moderate in the middle, and those are the audience members that we're going after.
And you've always been pretty open about, you know, struggles you've endured throughout your career and in your personal life, and you speak about it in your podcast and your book a little bit more in depth. But I'm interested to know what inspires you to stay true to yourself in front and behind the camera.
I think it's the only way to live, is to stay true to yourself. And one of the things, you know, I've learned, I'm now on the board of directors for the Partnership to End Addiction, and I host a podcast for them that I do it on a volunteer basis. It's simply nothing but a passion project. I know how many people, tens of millions of Americans, suffer from anxiety or depression. Millions and millions of them self-medicate that anxiety and depression with drugs or alcohol. It's led to a huge crisis in this country, according to the CDC and our own government statistics. And my gosh, the number of deaths in the opioid crisis and this truly frightening fentanyl crisis. And these are all issues I'm going to spend a lot of time reporting on my show. I think they're really important to tens of millions of Americans, and we know that more than 80% of people who need help with anxiety or depression or with addiction do not get it because of stigma around these issues. And the only way we chip away at that stigma is to talk about it.
Well, Elizabeth, I and I think tons of other people can appreciate that you're very open about that, and I think people watching can feel a sense of comfort in the fact that they're watching somebody who might struggle or have struggled with things that they also have. What are some other stories that you're excited to share with your viewers?
Oh my gosh, anything that's just happening. I mean, we've got an historic presidential election happening right now. We've got chaos on the southern border going on right now. We have an opioid and fentanyl crisis sweeping the country. There's a lot going on in this world. I just feel really privileged to have a front row seat in covering it and doing the best job I can do in explaining all these really important, sometimes, you know, difficult, a little thorny issues to our viewers. I mean, just bringing them home, breaking them down, and letting our viewers see all the facts from all sides and make up their own mind.
Well, Elizabeth, we are excited to see you take on this new role. Congratulations again. You can catch Elizabeth Vargas Reports at 5 p.m. Central, and for more, head to CW33.com.